not just for discharge. This is tumors, cysts, endometriosis, you name it. This is a great tool. And we also use it in infertility. A lot of women or a lot of couples come and they've tried to get pregnant for a long time. A lot of couples are going through this now, many years. And you know, they go through the cleanse together, and the woman does every other day, not every day. Every other day you do this douche once a day. So you take in a little baby syringe again, half water, half deep breath, and you take it vaginal, and you try to hold it a little bit, but it's such a great cleanse. So that is wheatgrass. Now, so if I don't have wheatgrass, you can use other wheats, you can use other vegetables, but you need something that's very, very rich in chlorophyll. You could also use aloe. Aloe you have lots here. Parsley. Yeah, but aloe, cactus aloe, no? Yeah. You have? You could just juice the whole thing. Yeah, wash it and just juice the whole thing with everything. So don't get stuck that if you don't have wheatgrass, use other things. For us, it's our tool. Asthma for eucalyptus leaf is an old remedy. We use eucalyptus also to put on the chest. Whenever our kids have a cold, I put it here, and I put it at the palm of the foot. So I put it there when they go to sleep at night. I take eucalyptus aromatherapy oil, and I put it on their palm of the foot. Not their hands, because they get it guys. But that's all. Your parents knew all about that. Burns, there's nothing like aloe vera. You have to have aloe in your house or in your garden. And our son was 1 year old. He never saw hot water, because in Florida, we don't really make teas, but I had guests from Sweden, and it was Christmas time, and so I had just poured from the stove. I poured hot water in teacups, and he saw this thing, and so of course he grabbed it from the table, and it burned his whole arm. I mean, skin just burned. So I ran out in the garden, and I cut the biggest leaf that I could find, and I cut it in slices. I cut the inside that's gel. I cut that in slices, and I put it all on his arm, and then I wrapped it with gauze, and I changed it morning and evening. Not a scar, nothing. Beautiful healing. And I know, what a difference, because I was burned as a child, and I still have my scar forever. He doesn't have a scar. So aloe is amazing healing. So, you have to have aloe at home. And of course, ice. So you can put ice on top of you have the aloe, the wrap, and then put ice, Diarrhea, we use green clay. When you switch diet for a few days, a lot of people get diarrhea. Just like you would if I would eat, let's say I would eat meat, I would definitely get diarrhea probably for weeks to come, because I don't have the enzymes to digest it anymore. I mean, for 40 years I've been vegan, but the same, if you eat meat and you only start to eat vegetables, and you skip the coffee and all of that, you might have diarrhea. So we use green clay. You pick up green clay in the health food store, and you take 2 tablespoons, mix it in a bottle, shake it, drink it a few times a day, and it will stop it for you. Yeah, because you don't want to have diarrhea for many days. That will just deplete you. Yes, deplete you. So you really get dehydrated. So we work with it, but it's kind of a natural process. I say half our group goes through that. The other half somehow doesn't need to. Garlic oil, that's one of our favorite things, because we use it for so what you do, you press, you have a garlic press, and you keep pressing in a bowl until you have like 20, 30 cloves, you know, the little pieces. And you only take what comes out of the press, the fine stringy stuff. In a bowl, you have 1/3 of pressed garlic, 2/3 of olive oil. You let it sit half an hour, and then you can use it in so many ways. Here, for the earache, of course, anybody who has a kid, you probably learned from your parents about garlic oil. So then you take a piece of cotton, you dip it in the garlic oil, and I can keep it 3 days. You know, so I just put a plastic wrap over it, and I can keep it 3 days. Squeeze a little bit of the oil out, and you put it into the ear. It's wonderful. We use this for open wounds. We use this for big infections, even staph infections. And you probably heard the story. We had, so many people have come with infections through the years. But a young lady came from England. Her name is Heather Mills. She's the one that married and divorced Paul McCartney in Beatles. Yeah. Well, she had this accident. She was crossing a street in London, and as she's, when you're crossing a street, you look both ways, and it was a busy street and buses and everything, and there was another bus coming, and then there was three. Okay, so she was just looking, and now the bus passed. Now she sticks her leg out, and from nowhere comes a motorcycle cop. A police comes, and he cuts her leg under the knee. And she's staying in hospital. She's in coma for a long, long time. And of course, they gave her heavy-duty IV, antibiotic, because she had infection. And they wanted so much for it to heal, so they cut tissue, and they hoped that it would just heal. And they cut more tissue. It didn't happen again and again. And finally, when she came out of coma, a friend visited her who healed cancer many years before, and she said, Heather, I'm going to take you to Hippocrates. So they came, and she stayed 3 weeks, and the first thing I showed her was how to make the garlic oil. And so now, an open wound cannot have plastic. No plastic, it has to breathe. So what you do, you dip a gauze, you just dip it in that garlic oil, and it can be half an hour or 3 days on it. You put it on the wound, and then I put more gauze, and then I put the wrapping gauze, so they would sit on her leg. In 4 days, it killed the infection. She wrote a book while she was married to Paul McCartney. It's called A Single Step, and chapter 20 is about her visit and what happened. And she writes on the 5th day, she took a taxi downtown to West Palm Beach, where she found somebody who makes prosthesis. And she got the prosthesis in 2 weeks. At our last graduation on Friday, she had jeans on, a new prosthesis, and she's just a firecracker. She could not wait to get into life. And she was the first one that went to Haiti after the earthquake to help kids with prosthesis, because she knows if we don't start early, if we don't get going right away when you lose a limb, you will lose more limbs and you could die, because infections just spread. So the faster you can move. And after she left the institute, she went to Kosovo and Bosnia, because the war was going on. And she brought food there, and as she's there, she realized so many kids have walked on landmines, and that's how she met Paul McCartney in this big gala where they got money together to help kids so that they could get it. So that's how that happened. So garlic oil we use all the time, all the time, even after surgery, to prevent infections, especially when you take stitches out. So many people get infections at hospital, especially the stitches. So when you take the stitches out, it would be so great to have garlic oil. Let's say I have lumpectomy and you take the stitches. Fantastic. No infections. You'll never have infections. Ginger is incredible for a bath. ginger. It's dried powdered ginger. So you make a hot bath or foot bath. You know, now I think water is going to be not. I think that we are going to see a time where we're not just filling up our bathtub as easy as we think we have, as we are spoiled with now. I think foot baths. I was brought up in Europe. We didn't have bathtub, but we had foot baths, and we just threw a big towel over. It kind of creates steam. And yes, because the pores of the soles of the feet are so much larger than the rest of your skin that you're like a sponge. That's why when the kids are small, I also put the eucalyptus on the soles of the feet. So you can do either or. But you take a cup in a big bath, like half a cup in a foot bath, and you will perspire. And if you have a fever, you will drop that fever because you perspire it out. You know, the skin is the largest elimination organ. So if you can perspire, that's when we talk about the far infrared sauna that heats you from the inside out. You're going to perspire. You're going to get rid of so many toxins and infections that way. So ginger is, the next one is sea salt. That's sea salt, of course. Celtic salt, Epsom salt. Yeah, you can do salt bath. Yeah, of course, Dead Sea salt is nothing like Dead Sea salt. It's so nourishing with minerals you cannot find anywhere in the world. Dry skin brush, wonderful, helps your lymph. Immediately before showering, using circular motions and straight strokes. You always forward, you know, you go up this way, you go down this way. Rub your entire skin surface vigorously. So it stimulates the lymphatic and circulatory system. And neem cream for psoriasis. Neem, fantastic. It helps the itch. It helps. Neem is a plant. It's an Indian plant. It's used very much for eczema, and it's a natural pesticide, actually. It's even used for organic farmers to keep pests away. So they grow it around. And toothpaste, too, yes. Magnesium, you know. If you have a lot of headaches, you don't definitely lacking magnesium. Of course, we should get it from our diet, our juices, but you might need to take some extra magnesium too.